Thank you everyone for joining us. Is it okay for me to go ahead and get started, Jesse? All right, well, I am Tiffany Keaton. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm the Senior Manager of Business Diversity and Supply Chain Sustainability at TIAA. I also have the distinct pleasure of being co-chair of the Communities of Color Initiative at NGLCC. We're looking to have a good time today. I'm going to introduce some folks to you. You're going to learn a little bit about their businesses. Then we're going to have some fun. We're going to sip. I have water. Don't know about you, but sip what you may. And let's get started, Jesse. Our judges today, Nicole Van Valen, Senior Manager at CBS, Supplier Diversity, Javier Webb, Supplier Diversity, Adobe, and Kamala Forbes, Global Director of DEI at Pride Global, are our judges today. Next slide, please. Or should I have them say a few words? Oh, no. All right. Let me go into my rules and guidelines, y'all. So each company has 5 minutes to pitch. Only one presenter from each participating company. And then the judges have 10 minutes for feedback and Q&A. If you don't have a presentation, not a big deal. It's an informal program where we provide real-time feedback on your company's pitch. If you're not speaking, we know the deal. Just mute your phone so that way we don't have any distractions or background noise. Team NGLCC will provide warnings at the 1 minute and 30 seconds time limit. This is a judgment-free zone designed to help you enhance your pitch and grow your company. All feedback is shared in the spirit of collaboration. So please have fun, have a good time. All right, first up, phenomenal writing.
Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna share my screen. Ready to go. One moment, I don't see it. Let me try that again. Sorry, guys, it was just there. Okay, let me try it one more time. Sorry, we just share screen. There it goes. Share. Can everybody see it?
Yes.
You guys, all right, all right. Let me know when it's time to go.
All right, go right ahead, Cheryl. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Cheryl Clark, and I am the founder of Phenomenal Writing, the trusted ghostwriting agency for billion-dollar companies. And we are a certified minority-owned business. Our mission is to empower executives to communicate with precision, impact, empathy, and authority. And our motto is to be phenomenal or be forgotten. Some of the things that our clients have said about us over the years is that we've done a fantastic job. We make the process very easy. An incredible writer, professional communicator, used my thoughts and words to create something that felt authentic and true to me. Those are just a few testimonials that we've gotten from clients in different industries, from sports and entertainment, from the NFL to healthcare to finance and technology. The services that we provide are sales messaging training, which could be in-person or virtual sales messaging communication training to help sales leaders open doors and close more deals. We also provide speech writing services, which can be for motivational speeches, fundraising speeches, award acceptance, basically any kind of public speaking that an executive has to do. We can help with as a silent writing partner. Finally, we provide executive ghostwriting services. A lot of leaders have great ideas in their heads that they want to get out, they want to write articles, they want to publish more, but they don't have the time because they're too busy running the company. So that's where we come in. We help with articles, emails, scripts, and a few more types of communications. Some of the content that we've done has ended up in Forbes Council, it's ended up in Black Enterprise Magazine, and of course on LinkedIn. So those are some of our services. And oftentimes some people who are not familiar with executive ghostwriting might wonder, well, is it cheating? How does it work? What's going on here? So on this, I want to just break down very quickly because we keep it straightforward at Phenomenal Writing. And the first step to working with us is a consultation. This is where I get to know the prospect, know what they want to achieve, why they want to achieve it, and so on. After that, within 24 to 48 hours, I then come back with a proposal, a very simple one-page proposal that summarizes everything that we talked about in that consultation. But in this proposal, I also suggest how we can help the client or prospect at that point get from A to B, A to Z. I suggest how we can bring value, outline all the goals of the project, the metrics that we will use to accomplish what is necessary, and the timeline in which I think we will take to get this project going. And then after that, submit a services agreement. If everything is great, the prospect signs, it goes from prospect to client. Then we get on into a strategy session. The strategy session is a deeper dive of the consultation. This is where we get to learn more and prep to move into the execution phase. And in execution is where all the work really gets done. This is where we start researching, writing, editing, interviewing different subject matter experts within the organization, and attending any meetings necessary to get all of the information that we need to make this speech, article, or whatever it is authentic to that person's voice, and then we deliver it. So with first-time clients, it may take a little back and forth to get their voice down, but usually once I work with a client more than once or twice, we can get that done in 1 to 2 drafts, which saves tremendous amount of time for the client. And that's pretty much it. That's our final delivery. And then hopefully if they sign again, we get on into this again, starting at execution. What makes phenomenal writing different? Quite a bit. We are a global team of storytellers. It's not just me. I mean, I'm the chief writer, but it's not just me. On the team are award-winning playwrights, public policy analysts, researchers, editors, graphic designers. We're just a group of passionate folks who put our heart and soul into every project, and we treat every project like our first and our last. We are diverse. We have folks on different continents to close the timing gap. Sometimes clients wonder, well, what happens if something happens to you? Well, there's a backup. That's what happens. We work to really just get everything done on target the way that the client expects. And we're also been trusted a lot by really large companies. So some of the leaders that we work with have represented companies such as Coca-Cola, GE, UPS, Beachbody, City National Bank, and several others. So that, helps us really stand out, because to my knowledge, we are the only executive communications consulting firm that's this diverse, serving this level of client. And
Left.
what do we need? What do we want? We are trying to grow. We're trying to scale. So we're asking for partnerships. We're looking for opportunities, introductions to people within the organization. It's usually the vice president of communications who can, allow us to help your leaders get more done in less time. So our ask is helping us grow through partnerships and working together. So that's it. Thank you so much. Stop sharing.
Cheryl, I appreciate that. All right, folks, it is the judges' time to shine and provide their feedback.
Well, I can start it off. This is Nicole Van Valen from CVS Health.
Thank you.
Cheryl, I really enjoyed hearing your pitch, and I liked the visuals of your PowerPoint presentation.
Thank you.
What really stood out to me is you starting off with your client testimonials and the industries that you serve, because someone sitting in my position, we want to know, okay, are you successful, and what does that success look like for your firm? And I also really like the transparency of your process by showing your roadmap and explaining exactly what you do and what your team does. One of the things I was left wanting to know is, what is the size of your team? How many employees? You closed with saying that you want to grow and scale. I would have liked to know a little bit more about what that means, and what capacity are you at right now, and exactly where you want to get to. If there's some numbers or data that you can add to the presentation, we love to see that. So any percentages, and if we could know how many clients you've served.
Okay.
You may not want to say who they, you may want to say who they are, or you may not. You may want to say what you have planned in the future, so we can get a sense of what's in line of sight for your work moving forward.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah, those are the main things.
Awesome feedback. Thank you very much.
Then can I jump in now? This is Javier Webb from Adobe, and I really enjoyed the presentation. You drew me in. Your pacing was fantastic.
Thank
That
you.
was one thing that I saw, and you didn't feel like you were rushed. And that keeps me engaged in it because I knew how to pace it. And you started answering the questions that I was thinking of as we were going through the process. I'm not sure if I caught where you were located.
Oh, okay, good. Sorry. I'll let you finish. I did.
So that's,
Correct.
if you did say it.
I didn't. You are correct. That was a oversight on my part.
Right.
Based in Atlanta, Georgia. Thank you.
Yeah, so that's just some things that I'd look for. And again, a little bit of data would be great. There's a lot of us look for the numbers in this. Like, how's it benefit me? What's the increase going to be for me? You know, how many like LinkedIn posts have you done? Things of that nature
Okay.
would be great. But overall, I mean, the pace, the color schemes, all the graphics are really, really nice. So overall, it was a great job. I really, really enjoyed the presentation.
Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. And I can't believe I forgot what city I'm in. I personally have been moving around a bit. Today I'm in Mexico, but I need to add. Yeah, I've been traveling for a bit, so I'm in and out of the United States. So sometimes I forget what time zone I'm in, guys.
Yeah, and I also like when you mentioned how diverse you were. That was great. Maybe a graphic on like your team, or a few members of the team, or past members of the team. I would like to see that, because when you say diversity, it's like that trigger is okay. What?
Okay, I can definitely.
Right.
It's on.
Right. I mean, just I mean, 5 minutes is tough. 5 minutes is a really tough block to get all the information in. Right.
That's a really great tip. Thank you. I can do it.
Okay.
All right, I'll jump in. Kamala Forbes, I go by she, her pronouns. I'm the Global Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Pride Global. Going last is a little tough. They gave some great points. So just not to echo what they say, although I agree with them both. I think the first thing that stood out to me that was amazing was your motto. You led with your motto, be phenomenal or be forgotten. And I think, of course, it aligns very well with your company's name, but it was just something that I won't forget. So I think that was something that made you stand up from the very beginning. You know, like Javier said, pacing was great, but I also felt authenticity from you. I felt like you knew your material, you knew what it was about, and there was that very good common connection that made me want to continue listening to you to really delve in and understand what your product offering was. Time in, of course, finishing in that 5-minute mark, although it's tough, you did it. And I think that's key, because there's nothing worse than going over your presentation time and having to be cut off and not getting to the pieces that you need to get done. So excellent job on that. I think 2 pieces that maybe you could potentially add would be, you know, when you think about writing and, you know, if one of the services you're offering is talk like emails or, you know, putting things from a company perspective, I would maybe like to hear something about maybe what your confidentiality, you know, piece might be. Like how would a company come to you knowing that, oh, you're not going to write the same thing for the next company, or, you know, are there some kind of rules in place to prevent that from happening? So if you have something like that, it might be great to speak about. And then was also wondering something else that came to mind as you started talking about, you know, the things that you've written have shown up in Black Enterprise Magazine or some other publications. Just wondering if that could be a potential like add-on service that you offer, you know, for companies. Like, I mean, because even as I think of myself, I'm like, great, I could use your service right now. I'd love to write some pieces that I don't have the time for. So, you know, as I thought about that, I'm like, okay, great. Well, can you help me get these in you know, in front of some other audiences? Is that something that you offer? So I think if that's something that you could think about, it'd probably be something good that people would be looking for as well.
Awesome. Thank you. Very good feedback. I'll take it, taking all of it to heart. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, thank you, judges. Thank you, Cheryl. Well done.
Thank
So
you.
we're going to move on to our next presenter.
Oh, somebody
That is
said.
going to be Brandon Christopher.
Hey there.
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
sorry. So I'm just going to take a second really quickly to share my screen. Oh, it's saying I can't share screen yet.
You should be
There we
able
go.
to now.
Okay, I have it now. Thank you. Okay, whenever we're ready, let me know.
You're all set.
All right, well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for your time. My name is Brandon Christopher, and I'm the CEO and owner of Lexicon Promo. Today, I want to tell you about a new vision that we're launching, but before I tell you, where we're going, I want to first, tell you where we've been that led us here. I've been a lifelong, entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 17. And around that time, after kind of really messing something up, one of my mentors told me, don't start anything just because it sounds cool. Start a business because you can really change the game there. And until then, learn as much as you possibly can everywhere. So that led me into, basically my career where, after finishing at the University of San Diego, where I finished a finance, marketing, and communication studies triple major. I joined Booz Allen Hamilton, where I was a consultant supporting the Department of Defense in their procurement efforts. After that, I went to a few different technology startups before actually starting my own company. During all of that time as well, I didn't really see many people that looked like me, either from being black or LGBT, that were in or around the conversation of business. And so during all of that time as well, I became the chapter director for Startup Grind, powered by Google for Entrepreneurs, where we threw fireside chats where we talked with founders, investors, and different people in the business community about what they did. Additionally, I supported Startup San Diego by creating all of their social events for Startup Week. So for the 5 years that I did it, I planned social events for 5,000 people once a year. So taking everything that I learned in all of this time, this is where I originally started Lexicon Promo. And our points, with Lexicon Promo were climate. We actually fund carbon extraction with every single order. Service, most of my clients will tell you we've bent over backwards to make things happen for them. And technology, which is what I'm most excited about now, as we launch our technology solution for ordering promotional products in an e-commerce like way. This also sets off a 2-year timeline where at the end of that 2 years, we would like to have expanded to every single indirect procurement category where you can find it on our platform like from an e-commerce perspective. So that's kind of our, with our 10-year vision rather, it is our vision to kind of be the single platform at that point in time to where all indirect procurement happens. And because of that, because we are trying to change the game and how procurement works, it's imperative that we start now and trying to change how corporations actually work with their suppliers. And so this is where the supplier portal enters. The supplier portal is not just a supplier portal, it is a social fabric. And so basically, supplier diversity is truly the most important equalizer in America, but we still, exist with a lot of silos. And so as a diverse supplier, I miss opportunities by not being in all of the thousands of portals, by not being in all of the email lists, by not knowing about an RFP, and by not being able to transfer knowledge. And this is also something that is missing, making corporations miss out on better competition as well. So the supplier portal is events, publications, and technology. So with events, the supplier portal, we will be hosting fireside chats. Thank you very much. Where we will have, founders or supplier diversity professionals, give intimate talks. Additionally, we will have the supplier diversity roundtable where the same thing, corporations and suppliers will be able to really talk about how can we advance supplier diversity. We'll have publications where we do feature suppliers and corporations. And then lastly, our technology is what I'm most excited about. So we're creating full supplier profiles. Thank you so much. Where at the top of the profile, you'll see their capabilities as well as their portfolio and a contact form. You'll also have supplier ratings within these profiles as well as bi-directional messaging and social timelines so that everyone can post where the full community can see it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Christopher.
Thank you so much. I had to speed up a little bit at the end there, but thank you all for your time.
Yes, it happens. Well, I'm going to go ahead and call on our judges one by one here. I did it wrong the first time, y'all, but since this is a safe space, Kamala, will you go ahead and get started and share your feedback with me?
Absolutely. Brandon, that was a great pitch. I think there are several things that I love about it. I think when you start off a presentation with letting people know who you are, they connect to you. People do business with people they know, people they like. And I felt connected to you in the beginning, understanding what your why is, why you started this business. So I thought that was a great way to start a presentation. I think that led us into like, you pretty much started with what the problem is you were trying to solve and why you came up with Lexicon Promo and the portal. So I thought great job on that. I love seeing the list of clients on there. That adds credibility right from the beginning. We're like, oh, okay, you're working with this one and that one. Okay, I'm good. I'll work with you too. So good stuff there. The diversity certifications, I saw somebody drop yay for the dual certification. So I think putting that up front was money. And I think the constructive criticism I would give on it is, well, one, timing. I felt like, maybe a little less on the front part. As much as I loved getting to know you in a 5-minute block, you want to save a little bit more time to get to the meat and potatoes of what you're delivering. So we fully understand the portal and what what we need to buy. And I think just in terms of the slides, I love the slides. I felt like there was just like the one slide, which I loved, which you had pictures, it just didn't seem consistent with the rest of the slides. So from just a visual presentation part, that one took me a little bit, out to left field and then brought me back with the rest of them that were very consistent. So that's my feedback. Great job in the presentation overall and in the company concept as well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Thanks, Kamala. I'm gonna hand it over to Javier.
So Kamala stole all my stuff, but that's okay. No, I actually really enjoyed the beginning of your presentation, letting me know who you were. And being that I am in supplier diversity, I'm in those portals for procurement because I roll up under procurement. So I wanted to know what difference you were gonna make in this space. So that's the thing that kept hooking me into it. So it's like, we have this, we're gonna do this. So I love that you put that roadmap out there to say where you're going to go and what I can purchase down the road, or if it's just gonna be folded back in. That was a great piece of it. The other piece I really did like was what you were saying about what's missing and why we miss it as diverse suppliers in this space. And you put that out there so it's obvious. Sometimes we don't talk about it. Sometimes we just let it go past us. But when you put it there, it puts it front and center and said, this is why we're missing these things. So I love that piece. I also love that you're putting stuff together like the fireside chats and all the other things that you're doing to bring this, to build this community. Because I think it's so important that we're doing that. And I'm so glad that you're taking a lead on that. And again, I think you're from San Diego. I think you're based in San Diego, but I'm not sure.
Sorry.
But again, that's my thing is I need to know where you're from so I can place you with whomever is in that area or in that space in that area. So I'd love to know where you're from. And I also want to know if you're local, national, or global. All right. if your tool is only for that specific region, or, you know, those kind of things. But again, 5 minutes is a short time. You can't do everything in it. So, you know, the little smaller introduction to you and more about what you're trying to give us would be so great. But otherwise, it was fantastic. And I love that you told us more about you. It's great.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that feedback. We are based in San Diego. We do service nationally. So, and the other thing is, and this is just timing and completely my fault as well. We will be starting to do those fireside chats in 10 total cities. And so, yeah, and so I'm happy to share more information as well.
Thanks, Javier. Thank you, Brandon. Nicole.
Yes, I just need to say, when you started out with the About Me section and weaving a story, it kept my interest, and I felt like I could trust you, that you were authentic, and that you have a vast amount of experience because you tried something, it didn't work. You had mentors and they told you change this and do that. So that story and how you weave that got me hooked in. And then at the end, when we didn't get your whole story, you left us wanting more. So we did want to hear everything that you have to offer. So I would definitely take the advice that Xavier and Camilla mentioned before, is shorten up the About Me section, but I don't know how you're going to do it, because I wanted to know all that too. So that was great. I love the 10-year vision, because, you know, I'm futuristic, and I know people like to see that long roadmap. So that was wonderful. I love the quote, the phrase of social fabric, that really stood out. And that's kind of like a differentiator for you. So maybe highlighting the events, because Xavier mentioned that before, because past COVID, these are things that people are looking for. So I think that's wonderful that you're doing that and you're going to expand it. However, it made me wonder, how are you doing all of these events and thinking about sustainability and ESG, the environmental, social, and governance? So if you have anything that you can add to that, because I know you talk about IT, technology, things like that, if you can weave that into the story, that would be gold as well. And when you shared the problem and how you solve it, I would love that to go right under you talking about yourself and go into that problem and then weave the story that way. Those are my pointers.
Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And you make an incredible point about kind of making sure that even with live events, I'm managing the footprint there. And that's not a talking point I've thought about. So thank you very much for including that as well.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks again, Brandon. I am permitted to make a comment. So I'm gonna just jump in, Brandon. I'm gonna share something with you. So I wanted to know, as I was listening and watching, what the market gets versus what the market wants versus what Supplier Portal was going to be doing. Like, I couldn't separate what I'm already purchasing and the similarities from what you might be providing. If there was an opportunity coming for you, with us at TIAA, I wanted to close that gap quickly, and this was my opportunity. I didn't close that gap, and I was absolutely flabbergasted by the triple major. As an aside, like, who does that? Okay. And the last thing, I live by the 3 S's of success. They're all my own. They're not fancy, but I try to make everything I do some speedy, simple, and strong. And with 5 minutes, obviously speed is an issue. You have a very strong story, as the judges have mentioned, but simple. Something that I can walk away. I probably didn't need to know everything that I know about Lexicon during this conversation.
Thank you so much. That is, those are absolutely valid feedback points. And this is a pitch that I usually do in like 20 minutes. You know, and so yeah, just trying to get it all cut down. But absolutely. I mean, the thing for us is, just to answer very quickly, is that, you know, like, in trying to be a supplier for a lot of people, it's like I've signed up in like 500 portals, and there's no like communication aspect. There's no kind of how do I get to know you aspect. And even when I wind up on the supplier diversity professionals email list, it's like, oh, but like, this other person might actually benefit from this event, different things like that. And so there's just so many silos in the community that I would just kind of love to remove, because it's in my vision, especially for the live events, like that NGLCC is represented, NMSDC is represented, all the other certifying bodies, and that we're really kind of, coming together as a community with these kinds of events. And so I'm happy to send you the full slide deck. But yes, thank you so much for that feedback. There's absolutely, any minimized time I could absolutely cut things out.
Well, again, thank you. Fantastic job. We all agree there. Definitely go check out the chat. You are popular. So thank you very much. Next, we have Dennis Williams of Who Cares? I Care.
Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. I just finished, I'm at work, so I just finished teaching my my third graders. I teach dance and motivational speaking at a school I'm working with right now, a charter school, which I absolutely love. And I am exhausted, but I still look amazing, honey. How you doing? And that's on period. Okay. I love all of you out there. Thank you so much for what you do. So I'll tell you a little bit. So my company is called Who Cares? I Care. My mission, we do motivational speaking and empowerment for the LGBTI plus community. I also help to educate and invite us to mental health and therapy services. The thing that's really exciting about my company is that I've taken my company from life experiences and I've turned it into something that creates a safe space for everyone around me. I always tell people I'm a survivor who's become a thriver, right? I am not bruised. I am not broken. I am bruised. Life happens to us or for us. I use a lot of those things. And so basically, this is my pitch. Right now, I have been very, very fortunate to work in, like I said, the charter school that I just did. I just did their first LGBT event here for kids 6th to 8th grade. And that excites me because I feel like when I was 14, I came out when I was 14, we didn't have a safe space like that. And I think that it's so exciting and grateful that I could be a person that could be part of that experience. So like I said, with my company, we tailor to children. We do events. I do a lot of team building events. I also talk about a lot of things in the community that we don't talk about, as far as narcissism, as far as leadership. A lot of times people don't know what leadership looks like or feels like, because a lot of times people are forced to go places and not directed to go places. And that's what my company is all about. It's all about love and empowerment and helping people find their space in the world. And I always tell people, they always say, so what is the long goal? And I say, the longest goal that I have is to help people stay alive in this world. Because I'll share a little backstory with you. So I created Who Cares? I Cares in 2020. And I created shortly after I got out of the psych ward because I almost committed suicide. I almost jumped into the Hudson River and ended my life. And I'm so grateful that my friend saved me. And when I was in the psych ward and I got time to kind of like settle down, and I got to see all the resources that were in there, I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. And I said, when I got out, I wanted to create a space, not just for myself, but for LGBTI plus people, because I know what it feels like to feel trapped in your own body and not have people understand you. So I decided to make my life a I'm not quiet, but I decided to make my life a vessel to create a space of safety and love. Um, so that's what I've done. And I've been able to work, like I said, with this charter school, which excites me because seeing little kids know, to hear the kids say non-binary and him, he, she, all those things is so exciting because it gives them a space. Because there's a lot of suicide that goes on in our community, especially with kids. So basically, that's what I've done with my community, and that's what I've done with my company. And it's not just about making money; it's about making change and purpose, and letting people know. And I always say this at the end of every single one of my seminars: "You are loved, you're beautiful, and you deserve to be here." And that's the end of my pitch.
Thank you,
I'm
Dennis.
sorry, guys.
Don't be sorry. This is the safe space. You were teaching dance, so you didn't miss my scripted intro, which said this is a place that is informal, and for you to just be yourself and have fun while telling the story and giving your pitch. As a suicide survivor, I completely understand the passion for wanting to ensure that doesn't happen to generations, the current generations or any future generations. So thank you for your work and mitigating those risks. I am going to hand it over to Nicole, our first guest.
All right. So I loved your pitch because I felt like I was on a plane to NGLCC about to go to the conference, and I met someone and we just started talking, and and that's how things evolved. Where you shared, you said you had your life experiences that you've gone through. You decided to build a company and create a space for people so they wouldn't go through the same things that you went through. And that's how businesses get built. They get built from people having an experience, wanting to make things better, make a positive impact. And then, especially with working with children, and then I feel like I know you more because I am seeing you actually in your workspace. You're seeing from work. I tend to be a visual person. I would love, even though there's no PowerPoint and sometimes you just need not to have that, but I would love to also have a PowerPoint that is sharing your story and your journey, because it's very, very, very powerful. I mean,
Thank you.
kind of roped in. So we could see that. I mean, I saw your joy when you came on, and then you weave that story of what you went through, because we all go through ups and downs. And then you closed out with what you're doing and the impact. So if we could see that roadmap and that story presented in that way, and to get to see some of the impact that you're making, if you had, permission to share pictures of you dancing with the kids, or getting to see you on stage presenting and giving that motivational speaking, we would feel even more connected to you and to your authenticity. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I'm so quiet.
We're just fine, Dennis. Thank you, Nicole. Kamala.
It's all good, Dennis. Let it out. We see you have everybody else on here to start to cry with you too. So why not? Let's do that for Friday, right? I agree with what Nicole just said. Like, here's the thing. Great presentations are good. I think they're helpful. But when you come on with all the energy you just brought at the beginning, maybe you don't need it, right? So I think that's wonderful. Do you make your presentation and your mark, the way that you feel comfortable to make that impact? I think it is beautiful. Thank you again for sharing just such a personal moment in your personal story with us. I know it may not be easy, but it definitely, hits home, and it gets people to wake up and pay attention. So my advice there would be, start with that part of your story. Start with your why. you know, if you put that to the beginning, I know that may be hard to kind of go right in at the beginning,
Right.
but if you can, and you start with that, I mean, not that I wasn't already connected from the how y'all doing, but you know, if you really start like that would have really been like, wow, whoa, wow, that happened to him. Like, and then he turned this around, he created a company out of that. It would have been, you know, I guess more, not that it all isn't interesting, but if we could try to put that in
Yeah.
chronological order almost,
Uh-huh.
to build that story out. So, you know, what's your why at the beginning? To Nicole's point, even if you didn't have a slide presentation, if this still picture was a picture of you with the kids around you or something, like, then we're looking at
Yeah.
getting all
Yeah.
of our
Yeah.
endorphins from like just seeing that, right? So I think a still picture, if
Yeah.
you don't have a presentation, would help you just being there, being you, and us connecting
Absolutely.
to that picture as well.
Thank you.
If you had a little video, and again, if you could share that, you know, you ended with your 1 minute, a 1 minute little video. If you did 4 minutes, you know, your story and telling us how you got there and what you're offering. But the last piece I would say is I think for me, it just wasn't 100% clear on what your offering was or what your, I mean, I understand that you do like leadership and motivational
Right.
speaking. Is there what's your ask? Who's your audience? Who should be buying these services? How can we get you more business? And that's the piece that I think
Absolutely.
didn't quite clearly come through in the presentation.
Absolutely. 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 And can I just say real quick, I for myself, I have a whole slideshow set up, and work went a little longer than I thought. So I was like, let me jump on this call, but I'm
Well, great
actually
improvisation then, like that's great.
Mm,
I had a whole setup, but look, everything, I always say this, 85% is showing up. The rest will come to you.
Yes,
Thank you, Dennis.
that's
Thank you.
me.
Thank you so much for your feedback. I love your hair.
Oh, we have Javier from Adobe, our final judge.
so first you need to tell me you love my hair too.
I love your hair, Javier.
I've been working on this. Secondly,
Javier.
I'm very
Sorry.
disappointed because you took me on this roller coaster ride that was just phenomenal, and I wasn't expecting it. It was,
Oh, thank you.
you sucked us in with that great energy, right? And then it was like this great, like dark drama, right? It was so much joy, you know, so you pulled us in and you gave us some information about who you were, what you're trying to accomplish, and who you're trying to accomplish it with. So those are the main things that we want to know: who you are, and what you're trying to accomplish, and how you're going to accomplish it is so important. Like in our space, we need to get as much information as we can, because I want to go and tell somebody else, because what you
Right.
did and what you're doing is phenomenal. I want to go tell somebody else.
Thank you.
But when you give that presentation, that's kind of how you're telling us how you want us to go and share it. Right. So that's the message I want to make sure that you get across is, what do you want me to go and tell my people? What do you want me to go and tell my friends and my family?
Right.
Because everyone loves the story about kids and doing something great for kids. So we want to make sure that we're sharing that message as far and as wide as we can as well. So if you can do that a little bit, like I said, the presentation, a good story is a good story.
Thank you.
And we can share that. And then, like you said, we get into our portals and we do this and we have all this stuff that we can share with our data sheets. But if I got a story, I can tell somebody that I say, hey, you guys need to listen to this guy and hear his story, or he's doing some phenomenal stuff, and I know you want to do something in that space. Give me the tool.
Thank you.
To lock it in. But right now, what you're doing is fantastic. Keep it up. Keep sharing that message, not just to us, but to the community at large. And we appreciate you. We are glad you are here.
Thank you.
Yeah. And that's, That's
I'd
it.
like to add one more thing. They just put the link in the chat of your website and it is beautiful. Just wanted to add that.
Thank you. I did my own website too.
Me
I'm a
neither.
Virgo I'm a Virgo. I'm literally the male Beyonce. I like to see everything happening. I'm like, You need to. I said, we on the run, honey. We on the run. This is the tour. What I want to say to Judge, I want to say what's your name again, hon?
Who,
Oh,
Mike?
Javier, right?
Oh.
Javier.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I wanted to also thank you. What's your name, beautiful? The beautiful chocolate woman.
Well, there's 3 of us on here, but.
I was gonna say, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
Well, no,
I'll
let me
take
just make this. Let me just make this all. I just want to say thank you so much for your feedback, and you guys touched me in such a great way, and I'm glad. And I know I had a presentation, but like when my students left, and I got one hug from my last student, it was like, Mr. Williams, thank you for everything. And I only met them this week. I only got 4 days, and I love the fact that I get those. I tell people, it's not about the time, it's about the moments that people will remember. So you have to make people feel like loved. And I call my kids superstars. And they're just like, I'm not a superstar. I was like, you are a superstar. I'm a superstar. You ain't a superstar? What are you talking about? But like just giving that love and encouragement. And I thank you guys for your feedback because you gave that to me. And like you said, I will work on doing a little more of that because I think I'm so passionate that I do leave out certain aspects. So I definitely received that, and I will look into making sure there's a little more of a how do I say technical layout. That's it, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, Javier, I thank you for what you just shared. I think we can take your recommendations of how do you want us to talk about you, like just as your personal brand as well. I think that's fantastic advice, and it simplifies the messaging. So this is our last pitch, and so I'm going to go ahead and transition over to Jesse and Sarah Beth. Thank you, judges.
Thank
Thank
you all
you.
so much.
Thank you all for sharing. Amazing.
Thank you, guys.
So does anyone have any final thoughts? Anyone from the audience they'd like to share with the folks who presented today? Feel free to share. And we can have everyone here. Okay, if not, then we're going to move to the final portion of the event, which is the community conversation. And for this program, for Black History Month, we're actually going to do a fun quiz. So the first question is going to pop up on your screen, and you're going to have about 30 seconds to answer. I wish I had some Jeopardy music to play, but I don't. Okay, so you should see this question on your screen now, and you can vote which answer you think is correct.
Those are really good choices, by the way.
All right, you got about 10 seconds left to vote.
Oh, my thing disappeared. Where'd it go?
All right, I'm gonna end the poll and we can see which answer was correct. So almost everyone got it right. It was the second answer. So Juneteenth, which became an official holiday in 2021, commemorates the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in the US. And our next question, we got 5 questions here. So let's see how you all do with these trivia. Next question. Who were the founders of the Street Transgender Action Revolutionaries? And it's multiple choice. There's actually 2 founders, so you have to guess the 2 correct answers. Do. Okay, 10 seconds left. All right, let's see what the answers are. The correct answers, Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. Nice work to those who got it.
Yes, I'm excited about myself getting it. Woo, woo.
Yes.
That was an easy one. Give me more.
Well, we're on to question number 3. This one's a little harder, potentially. Do 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 do.
Oh,
Do, 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 do.
Okay, 10 seconds left.
I love it, Jesse. Just entertained. Too funny.
Yay. Almost everyone got it right. You all are smart. My goodness. Okay.
Or some good guessing.
Yeah, oh, that part.
Question number 4. There's 2 left here. This is a good one. This is a more recent history question. Who was the first Black woman to headline Coachella?
ooh.
You know what?
That was easy.
Yes.
Wait, can we get a hint?
If you get that wrong, your black card gets revoked.
Yes.
Hey,
Most
no,
definitely
no.
so. Most
Your black card
definitely.
and your gay card get revoked.
And the NGLCC certificate.
Look, your soul's gonna get broke.
Gotta be loud up here in this office.
Well, a lot of people's cars want to get revoked.
Uh-oh.
All right, we're gonna end the poll now. Let's see.
That was easy.
Almost
What if-
everyone got it right.
Here, what if we thought that it wasn't the first, we say, who was the best? And that was who we chose.
It's still Beyonce.
Oh,
Tell him, Sean. Tell him, Sean.
And now the fight begins.
Has Lizzo been to Coachella?
I don't know.
She
But I
was,
do like Lizzo.
she was Harry Styles' guest, so she did like
Look at you. See? Okay. We got the Jeopardy expert here.
hmm
Okay, last question here. Let me pull it up. Which state has the most
Ooh.
Black-owned businesses?
I guess I should know this, huh?
No, I was just reading through the census. Like literally.
it's a total guess for me right here.
I did too, Sean.
Can we get a lifeline?
Phone a
Phone
friend.
a friend.
Right?
Okay, 10 seconds left for your last question.
Wait, I think there's a trick behind that. Because are we talking about African-American Black or Black counting like Haitians and Dominicans and all of those as well?
That's a good question. I did not look into
Ah,
who
so if,
made this.
so if I'm wrong, that's why.
Yes, makes sense.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that.
Okay, let's see.
I think I'm wrong, but I think that's the reason.
I knew that's the reason.
Yes.
See, I knew it.
Yep, that's the reason. Yep. Okay.
Correct is New York.
Because they got to count Jamaica, Queens.
Yeah, you're right.
So that is the end of our quiz.
Good job, Jesse.
Thank you.
That was excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for playing. Our
Yes,
next
Yuri.
Friday is next month
Yeah.
on March 31st, and I would love for you all to attend. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to Tiffany Keaton, our Communities of Color Initiative
Whoop,
coach,
whoop,
for
Tiffany.
moderating today. Thank you to our amazing presenters, our judges, everyone for attending. This was an amazing event. I hope you all have a great weekend.
May I say something?
Please, Sean.
And just on behalf of the Communities of Color Initiative, which I co-chair or co-lead with Alicia Green, thank you so much for making our Black History programs a success this month. Look forward to the next Heritage Month programming that we will be up and coming. Stay tuned for that information. Everyone have an amazing weekend. Thank you.